Hello. Okay. Good afternoon. It's Friday. It's the 3rd of April, and hopefully you're watching this live because you wanted to join me for a little bit of salsa practice. So I can just see there's a couple of people coming in online. If you're logged into YouTube, like with your Gmail, and you've actually got a login, then I can normally see your name and who you are on the little side chat. If you're not logged in and you just clicked view from a link somewhere, don't worry. I can't see who it is, but you can still write me a little message. So depending on the device that you're viewing this on, if you've got it on a laptop, you can normally see it a little bit easier, the chat section. Sometimes if you're on a phone or a smaller device, you can't quite see the chat section, but do ask me questions. So a little bit about me. If you've never met me before and you've never seen me in any classes, thank you for joining me. For those of you that obviously come to my classes normally, you'll know why we're doing this. We've been on our lockdown now for about 17 days, give or take. We've been broadcasting for the last 3 weeks, all our normal classes online. So all my normal existing students I've still got access to all their normal classes. We've been broadcasting everything on our normal timetable as close as possible. And normally once a month, in-person classes, we have a free practice session on a Friday. So I open up the dance studio. We have a 3-hour practice session. We just play salsa music for 3 hours. It's all free. My students come along and they just practice. Why is that slightly different to a social? Well, it's not out in a nightclub, it's not out in a function or social club. It's purely in the dance studio, and everyone has come there to improve something with their salsa. So it's a little bit more focused. We also help. So I'll go around and help everyone. If someone wants to go over something specific that they've learned in one of the lessons. So it's a kind of salsa surgery and practice session all in once, rather than just a night out for social. So that's normally what we do once a month. Obviously we can't do that in person, so I thought we'll try and run as many of these as possible. And we ran one last week. This week, today, we're doing the Improvers Salsa now. 3:30, I'm doing the Improvers Cha-Cha, and then this evening I'm going to do Intermediate. So I thought I'd break it down from now on into different levels. If you're coming to watch and you are someone who's only just begun, more than welcome to stay on, challenge yourself, see how you get on. If you've been learning for a few months and you would call yourself an improver, a lot of the salsa clubs talk about beginners, improvers, intermediate, advanced. That's a general level of progression. And obviously there's a lot of variance in each level, depending on the region that you're in. Some of the city centre classes, especially in the UK, the clubs in London, the teaching standard is really high and the dance standard is very high. Sometimes in the regions, the standard isn't maybe quite as high so quickly. So we're somewhere in the middle. I try and push my students enough so that they actually feel challenged. But if I'm teaching regionally, which is where I am at the moment, it wouldn't be at the same level as if I was teaching in London. And any of you guys from the London area would know that. So we've got people joining in. I'm very impressed. Let me just sort the chat out. Okay, I'm just going to check that the chat's working. Okay, you should see me typing a little message. Now, anyone watching this on the recording, obviously, you can pause it, you can stop it, you can rewind it, you can slow it down on the settings. So if you do come back to this in the future, you can obviously do that on the little YouTube function, which is absolutely great. The one thing that I hope I have done is chosen music, which is legally allowed on YouTube and will not be blocked. I did do one class where I had 14 songs within the class, and the very last song had something, I think it was on a Sony music record label, and obviously that can't be shown on YouTube, so they blocked my whole video content. So hopefully I've fixed that. All the music should be okay, and you should be able to watch this live and recorded. So yes, I'm hugging my cup of tea because it's absolutely freezing where I'm. We're just in a small town outside Belfast in Northern Ireland in the UK. So it's absolutely freezing here today. But we'll start jumping around. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to put 2 songs on for a warm-up. Like I say, I've pitched this at improver level, so I'm assuming that you would know things like, I would have normally on my beginner list, which would be things like back basics, side basics, crossing side basics, core steps, Susie Q's, little pony steps, New York flares, some of the very sort of beginner level footwork. You guys might even know way more than that already, but use it as a good practice session. And if you find this one a little bit too easy, then please do check in on the one this evening. If you can't do it tonight, come back to that and look at it online. So we're going to do 2 songs as a warm-up, and then we've got lots of nice exercises. Like I say, this is a practice session, and it's for solo dancing. You will not need a partner. So I'm going to face the front. It's generally how we do it in our classes. You'll see the back of me. And I'm going to go on leader's timing. 5, 6, 7, and back. Side. Now, to the front. Just the front. Single legs. 1 each way. This is our basic mambo. Side again. A little bit bigger. And behind. Open. Now, if I've got ladies watching, you can add in some nice arms. And gentlemen, keep the arms strong. And mambo, forward and back. We tap. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. Have a little shake. This is just a warm-up, don't get carried away. Basic. Tip on. Corners. Change. And mambo. Now, 4 walks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and tap. Take it back. Again. We tap. Again, we walk. This time, 6 quick ones. Tap. Again, 6 quick. Side basic. Cross it over. Feet turn down. We overturn. Half left, half right. basic. Okay, hopefully you recognise most of those steps. They're our basic beginner steps. We're going to move on, add in a few more layers now. Make sure you've got water, juice, herbal teas, and basic. This could be a right turn. Remember, some arms for the ladies. We can take our arms up. I know I'm a little bit tall. My arms are just off the top of the camera. More important, you see my feet and imagine the hands. But leaders, nice strong arms. Here we go. Right turn. Left turn. And again, basic. One more. Right turn. Left. Basic. Side basic. We're tapping on 3 and 7. Tap. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, tap. 5, 6, tap. You can put your arms and your flavor however you want. Basic. Let's tap. Swing out. Little shimmy. Now ladies shimmy, a little bit more feminine. Leaders, imagine you're in an armchair. Leaders tend to be forwards a little bit more in their chest. Ladies a little bit more up, shoulders and neck. Now, Susie Q, left foot. You should know these. Up off the balls of the feet. Small rotation. 45-degree angle each time. Look to your corners. And travel. Go back. And again. Basic. Left side. This time cross behind. And basic. Right turn, left turn. Again. Okay, hope we're doing okay. So that was our second warm-up song. Again, keeping the steps nice and simple. There should all be ones that you recognise. Another thing that I do in my practice sessions quite a lot, for those of you who've been there in person, you'll know this, we actually work on some other type of dance techniques. So whilst we're in a practice session mode, I thought it would be a good chance to share some of this with you. You can look so much stuff up on YouTube now. You know, there's some great content out there. I know there's a lot of content to sift through. I actually use a lot of the ballet techniques that I learned from when I was very little and I started with ballet. And then I went into ballroom and Latin. So I did about 7 or 8 years of ballet tap modern. Then I switched over into the ballroom and Latin and did that competitively till I was about 21, roughly speaking. That's a very, very long time ago. Then switched into all the social dances and the salsa, but I picked up a lot of techniques from there. And you'll see dancers and teachers coming from all different types of dance background. And salsa is this wonderful place of a big mixing pot of all types of dance styles and hip hop and contemporary, and that's a great thing, and that's why I actually prefer it a lot more now for the aspect of that, because when you do the ballroom and Latin, it's one standard technique. Okay, every single person needs to look like a carbon copy of each other because the steps are standardized. Okay, so you're all striving to get the exact same look. So if you ever look something up on YouTube and it's a professional Latin dance competition, everyone's trying to do exactly the same thing, okay, and just be the best at it, and it's super, super competitive. Salsa, you're trying to find your own vibe, okay, so you get out and you look at as many teachers as possible, as many videos. If you can get to congresses, brilliant. If you can't, we have the internet with all of this information. I would highly recommend looking up a lot of ballet type exercise workouts and complementing your salsa dancing when you're practicing at home with some of those workouts, okay? The techniques that we use and the strength that we get into our muscles from a lot of the ballet training is quite invaluable. We couldn't be as steady up in the balls of our feet. We wouldn't have the same amount of control, or I wouldn't, if I hadn't learned some of those techniques. So I have a hybrid now. Of all those techniques put together. So the ballet, the ballroom and the Latin, and all the salsa. So I'm going to share with you today a number of those exercises that can be done easily at home. Grab 5 minutes, nobody's looking, just do them, okay? So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to put the feet together. I'm going to show you this way and then I'm going to show you that way. Okay, so you can see both sides. Feet together in parallel, okay? There's no gap, so they're not shoulder width, as they would be if I was maybe doing a fitness squat. They're actually together. So my ankles and my feet are just touching. Okay, now like we would do a normal fitness squat in parallel, I'm starting with the weight into my bottom. Okay, and if I needed to, I could still wiggle my toes. Okay, so I'm not wiggling my toes, but the idea is that the weight's still there. Okay, now taking that into a ballet version, we wouldn't bend down like this. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll keep our back straight and not go down so far. Okay, so I'm now working on tucking my tailbone, using my tummy muscles and going down. Okay, next position, we call it first position from ballet. Okay, your heels are together and your feet are turned out. Okay, this time we're going into a plie position. Okay, so you would have seen this in some of the ballet videos if you've looked at them. It's a plie position. And again, I'm trying to keep my back straight and my tailbone tucked and not be here. Okay, so that's the difference. It's the control. And it's choosing the point at which I believe I'm going to bring my feet up and come out from the heels and bring the heels up. Okay, now, not going to give you loads and loads of technical terms. I'm just going to put 2 songs on and we're going to do all the exercises together. Okay, so if you need to hang on to something, I have the mantelpiece here. Also, a wall is just as good. You're not gripping on. Make sure it's not something that's going to pull over on you, but you just want something maybe for a tiny little bit of just fingertip support, just to steady yourself. If you're not used to doing these exercises with me, and if you are, you know what's coming. Do not run for the sofa right now. Anyone want to put any messages in there and give me any questions? You're more than welcome to. So here we go, a couple of songs going on that we're going to practice this. Then we're going to practice our, some of our spin techniques, and then we'll move on to some nice footwork. So here we go. We are going here. Okay, hold on tight.
Welcome to the back there.
We're going to exercise for 20 and rest for 10 seconds.
4, 3,
Feet in parallel.
2, 1,
Heels
go.
are down. If you can go without holding on, just take the arms out. I'm here. Back is straight. Small.
3, 2, 1, break.
I'm going to take a second position now. So feet are turned out and I'm wide. Heels are still down. So we get parallel.
3,
Now we're
2,
open.
1, go.
Tuck the tailbone. I'm sideways. Nice and straight.
3, 2, 1, break.
This time feet first position. Heels are together. I'm turned out. Again, tuck in the tailbone. Pull in the tummy.
3, 2,
Here we go.
go.
Now we're going to do the same thing, parallel, and then the open, and then the first position, this time on the balls of our feet. So feet
3,
in parallel,
2, 1, go.
up in the balls of the feet, down and up. Keep the weight up out. Here we go, I'm side. I'm on the balls of the feet. Nice straight back.
3, 2, 1, break.
Good, same thing now. I take my wide second position, nice A shape. I'm going to come onto the balls of the feet, take something
3,
balance.
2, 1, go.
Down and up, down and up. Now we're working the tops of the thighs and the ankles and the calves, everything we need for our salsa.
3, 2, 1, break.
Good, we bring it back to the first position. There we go. I'm tucked in. Come up.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm quite tall. My head's bobbing off to the edge of the screen, I know.
3, 2, 1, break.
Good. We're going back to the parallel version. I'm sideways on. Now listen carefully.
3, 2,
We bend.
1, go.
Come up into the balls of the feet whilst bent. Straighten and lower. And again. Down, up, lower. Down, up,
2,
lower.
break.
Next time we're going to do that quicker.
3, 2,
Here we go.
go.
Down, up, lower. Down, up, lower. Down. Heels, up, lower.
Stop.
Okay, that's your start. We're going to do one more set.
Welcome to the back then. 5, 4, 3, 2,
And
1.
again, now parallel. And up. This time, I'm not holding on. First position. Good.
Break.
Second position. We're going to go slow and low. Get yourselves ready.
3, 2, 1, go!
Need to get those thighs working.
3, 2, 1, break.
You're nearly there. Okay, this time.
3, 2,
Second
1,
position,
go!
with one heel up. Another strange position.
Three, 2, 1, break.
We're going to the other side. So again, nice A shape with my legs. Tailbone is tucked, tum is in, back is nice and long. Other heel up.
Go! 3, 2, 1, break.
Okay, I'm turning sideways on. Feet are turned out. I'm going to take a little plie.
3, 2, 1, go!
Push, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. I'm in a plie position on my standing leg. Feel that burn?
3, 2, 1, break.
This is perfect complement for our salsa. I'm going to the other foot. Take my
3,
plie.
2, 1, go!
Keep breathing.
Three, 2, 1, break.
Give those legs a little wiggle. Now we're going to come up.
3, 2, 1,
and hold. Keep breathing. Floats.
Three, 2, 1, break.
Wide second position.
Three,
Pause the feet,
2,
get
1,
steady.
go!
Tummy's in. Find a nice and easy position to hold your arms. We're just holding, touching the tailbone. Get those ankles nice and strong. On the balls of my feet, calves should be hurting now.
3, 2, 1, stop.
There we go. So that's a couple of the sets of exercises I like to do with some of my classes. As we're developing our muscles, important, especially for the salsa, whether you're a leader or a follower, it doesn't matter, but we need to have good steady ankles, especially when we're spinning, traveling turns in salsa. If you find that you're wobbling a lot in traveling turns, if you find that you are coming off the line, I've got some fixes for those. We'll come on to that in a minute. Okay. So again, one of the things that I find with my improvers classes, and then we add into these practice sessions, is that our spotting isn't quite there yet, unless you've come from another dance style where you've learned spotting before. The teacher says spot, and everyone is, what on earth are we talking about? So one of the problems with spotting is that we're talking about finding the focal point that's in front of you at your eye height and leaving your head there for as long as possible, and then turning your head as quickly as possible, and then letting your body follow on. Okay, so we're doing all the salsa turns. The problem we have when we first start, and I've noticed this a lot in some of my people that come into my early improvers groups, we don't have that flexibility in our necks. If we've not been trained as dancers, gymnasts, you've done maybe a lot of yoga or Pilates and you've kept reasonably flexible. I stand there and I say to everyone, right, leave your head at the front and turn your body round. You should be able to get most of your body round and still be looking at the front. and half my class gets to here and says, we can't go anymore because the neck, okay, hasn't had the muscles extended properly. So one of the exercises that we're going to do now, nice simple warm up like you would see in any class, okay, before a spin section is taught, we really need to warm up the neck. Okay, and this is something again that we don't always have time to do in a salsa class. If your salsa class is only an hour, you haven't got a 2-hour slot, teachers are trying to cram a lot of things in. So this is something that you can do whilst you're waiting for your class, whilst you're outside, before you go into your class, even if you're sitting in a car, something you can do to get your neck and head warmed up. And now I'm going to leave the head at the front, looking down to my chest, my chin's towards my chest. Now I'm going to do shoulder strokes up and down whilst looking at the floor. Okay, so up and down, up and down. Okay, really squeeze the shoulders up and down. I'm not rotating them, and I'm going straight up to the ceiling and down, up and down. Okay, now I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades to the back, really push, and I'm keeping my chin down. Very simple exercises. Now we're going to go again. We're going to look to one side, scoop down towards the chest, look to the other side. We're going to scoop again, and last time. Now, face forwards. You should be facing your screen. I'm looking directly at the camera for you. Now, I'm going to keep my chin lifted, and I'm going to twist until I can't twist any further, and I'm going to hold. Okay, so that's my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold, and then I'm going to come back through my center, nice and evenly, and I'm going to look to the other side as far as I can and hold. Okay, and again, go. Hold. You will find one side, you'll probably go further than the other. That is completely normal. Whichever side is your stiffest side now needs work. Okay, I'm going to go the other way so you can see. You're not worrying about left and right and mirror image and what on earth is she doing there. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm just going to place it on my left shoulder with the fingertips facing to my back, okay, well, to the back of my room. And I'm going to do the same exercise. So I'm going to look as far away as I possibly can and then turn. When I turn this way, I'm going to hold my shoulder with a little bit of pressure to stop my shoulder from opening up to the back of the room. Okay, so there's a tendency when we start these exercises to think, oh, I'm doing it. And then what's happened is the shoulder has gone back. Okay, in this particular exercise, I want the shoulders staying in place. Okay, I want to actually leave them where they are. And right now they're directly facing the front wall and the back is directly to the camera. And I want to keep it there. So I'm going to place a little bit of pressure there. So when I look to my left, this shoulder's not accidentally opening up. Okay, I don't want to make it easy. I want to look. Now I'm managing to look just to the corner of my room. Okay, so I've got my wall at the front. I've got my front corner on the left here and what I would call my back left corner. Okay, so I can look to there. If you can't quite see the back left corner of your space, that's what you're aiming for. Now try the other side. Up. And we look. And I'm looking round and I'm looking round. Okay, so they're just little exercises that you can do. Give yourself a little bit of a roll here. Just little exercises that you can do because you need to be able to get this range of motion and you need that to feel easy and you want that all nice and relaxed, okay? Do not do this, okay? One piece of advice, when you see this in a class and you are asked to put your head up and you're asked to compress the back of your spine very early on in a dance class without a significant amount of warm-up, it's something that's a pet hate of mine. Do not be extending and squeezing at the back here, okay? We need to be lifted and look up, but we're not compressing backwards, okay? That's something that we shouldn't normally do anyway. But if you are going to be asked to do that, I would be questioning as to why you need to do that in the salsa class, okay? So we're not throwing the head backwards. There is a technique that we teach in the advanced stages, which is actually similar to what's used in the ice skating. So when you see figure dancers, figure skating, the ice dancers will put their head back and they'll go into the extremely fast multiple spins and they're on one leg and they're spinning and they're spotting on the ceiling. Okay, it's a super advanced technique. So unless you've come from figure skating, Do not be doing that just yet. Okay, that's my health and safety warning for today. Right, let's crack on. Spins, improve a level, spin turns. Okay, twisting with the body, little bit of a twist, twist, twist. Okay, so I'm going to be twisting and then I'm going to be going. Now, you've got lots of spin techniques. The first one we're going to do is a side basic and a side basic. Okay, so there's my preparation step. I always say to my guys, we have a base level step. Everything originates from a base level step, and then we layer small changes onto that base level step until we come up to the very complex level steps. And salsa really is only a combination of 8 basic steps. Okay, there's about 8 basic moves in salsa. Everything else is just a layer above that. Okay, so this is a side basic with a close. Side basic and close. Okay, there's our base step. Now I'm going to do side with a little bit of twist, not much, a fraction of a twist. I'm just going to look to my front left corner, so it's about 45 degrees. I transfer the weight back here, okay, as I would do in my side basic. Okay, I would be going out, replace, except instead of replacing with a flat parallel foot to the wall, I just turn it out a little bit. Okay, so instead of going side and together, I'm going side and. Okay, so there's a small and, side and just turn it out slightly. And then I'm going to twist, and then I close my left foot as I would do normally from the side basic close, and it's still closing on the spot, and it's still here. Okay, it's still here, but I've done my spin in between. So I've gone out and close. Weight is transferred to that left leg. There's no weight in my right leg now, and it's good to go for the next side. Side basic, together. Side basic, together. Side basic. Okay, there's my right side basic. Now let's put the spin in. Open, replace the weight, step down, there's my close. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Timing obviously will only be relevant if you're dancing with music and with your partner, okay? So again, it doesn't matter whether you're a lady or a man, or and you go to a class and the teacher does everything on one particular timing. We tend to lean most to doing an overall group class on the leader's timing when we're dancing on one. Okay, so we'll start on the one on the left foot when we're teaching a mixed class, if we're dancing on one. And then if you're learning on two, we actually tend to be on the ladies or the followers timing. We tend to break forwards on the two, which in most styles of on two is normally the ladies step. So, but there we are. So now our exercise, and we'll do this with some music in a moment. We're going to do side basic, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm doing 2 singles, a spin. So it's a left side basic, spinning to the right. And then in the fourth one, so it's 2 whole bars we're doing, that's going to be another side basic. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. Flavor, hips, arms come later. Okay, do not be worrying about doing all the fancy arms. Fix your feet first. Your floor is your best friend. I'm pushing and getting all my energy from the floor. Okay, do not be fooled by this twist that we're getting loads and loads of power from the twist. If I do this, I put too much power in, it's just going to take me straight off balance. I'm going to fall over. Okay, so I'm getting a very small twist and I'm using my core and I'm extending up through the diaphragm, but the majority of my power is coming from the balls of the feet pushing into the floor, and I'm using these muscles I call the bend straight action. Okay, it comes from our Latin dancing, but what's happening, it's not only making our hips look nice, but I'm actually using the pressure from the floor. So a lot of the time when you see me freestyle, you'll see this, okay? And I look like I'm pushing into the floor. Sometimes it's easier to see when I'm in flat shoes, because if I'm wearing my high heels, you can't see it as exaggerated, but have a little look. If I was doing a forwards basic and pushing into the floor, I'm not necessarily always going to land my heel. Reason being, if I know that I need a lot of extra pressure, I'll keep the heel up because I can bounce off and then head into whatever I need to do. Okay, so let's do this with some music. I'm going to call them out. various combinations, okay? I'm going to put the music on with just the numbers for starters. I can't shout the numbers at you and all the techniques at the same time, so let's go back to the numbers track. And I was here. She'll come in a minute.
Ready, and here.
Side basics.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6,
We spin.
7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now I'm spotted, looking at my spot. I look.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7.
I prep. Now this time we're going to spin the other way, so I'm going to prep out on my right foot. Prep. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7.
Good. So that's a little practice for you. Okay, the next one we're going to do those repetitively, okay? So unless anyone's got any questions, no, we're okay. Okay, we're going to actually do those repetitively. So I'm literally going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to count them out. Let's see how many we can do. Let's see if we can get to 20.
Ready, and
2,
here we go.
3,
2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and
5,
2, 3, 4, and
6,
7, 8, and
7,
2, 3, 4, and
8,
6, 7, 8, and
9,
2, 3, 4, and
10,
5, 6, 7.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
2, 3, 4, and
20.
7, 8, and 1, 2, 3,
Hope you're still there.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and
Okay, so again, that's another technique that you can use. You can play it back. You can now incorporate that in your own solo practice, using those single spin drills and then building up. Find some music on YouTube. I will put my links to my YouTube music in the bottom of the notes once the recording's finished. I think it might already be in there, and then you can obviously use that. Right, take some water. We're going to move on to footwork now. So, I'm assuming that you know most of the beginner stuff. I'm going to dance a few of the improvers steps, and I'm going to call out what I'm dancing. I have a whole list here, and I'm going to do them very briefly, and then you can obviously see what they're called, and then we'll put a little pattern together. Okay, so the first one, okay, and again, if you're watching this on replay, stop it, practice it, come back to it. The first one, Susie Q's, we know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, singles, or whichever. Now we're also going to do our bow tie, a double front tap, which is tap, tap, step, and tap, tap, step, and tap, tap, step, and tap, tap, step, okay? The bow tie is normally done as a pair, okay? So you normally get the full pair, but it doesn't have to be. We can split them up. The side basic with the tap on the 3 and the 7 we did in the warm-up. Side tap. 5, 6, 7, and a 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7. There's our side with the tap. We've then got round the world. I'm going to cross over. Oh, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. We've got our LA shuffle. Let's go over to the corner. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. Okay, we then got our New York flair, forwards or back. So we'll start with the forwards, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got our normal mambo with the flair on 7, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Again, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, that's our mambo with our flair. We've then got a little corner bounce. It's a pachanga step, and it's going into the corners. Small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can do them slower if you want. We've got our forwards and back, or there and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got our tap, tap, Susie Q. Tap, tap, Susie Q. Tap, tap, Susie Q. Okay, and now we've got Susie Q with a tap on the end. Got Susie Q's in here. Susie Q tap. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we've got our spiral, double spiral, and yes, we'll stop it there for the moment. So spiral, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the front. Double spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. So they would be all your standard improver steps that you should probably already know. So I'm going to put a song on and I'm going to shout out lots of those and we're just going to go for it. Mambo. Just try and follow. Side basic. Give me a red spin. Susie Q. And travel. Basic. Susie Q tap. Tap, tap, Susie. Basic. Mambo flair. Round the world. Basic. LA shuffle. Basic. Single spiral. Again. Double spiral. And again, double spiral. Right turn. This time, pop and flare for your left turn. And again. So it's like a mambo jazz, flare, then your left turn. Now, right turn and pop flare. Okay. Susie Q, step, step. Use your middle. Basic. Okay, so that's all the core steps that we teach in our improvers level. So hopefully most of those were familiar. It was just to get the heart rate up, just to get us practicing. You can slow those down, you can pause them, you can play them back. But they're the ones that we start with. And then as teachers, we like to give you a little footwork pattern or a shine or something similar. So I'm actually just going to give you a little footwork pattern, a shine with a couple of spins and turns all at the same time. So we've got a little bit of time. And I'm going to lay one down for you so that you can see. Okay, we're going to start with our mambo. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do my right turn. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that pop and flare. And 5, replace the weight on the front. 6, turn, 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 turn. 7. Okay, let's do that once more. We're going left, right, left, and pop. Replace the weight on the left. Turn, 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 here. I'm going to go sideways on so you can see. Again, if you're playing this back, you can switch the views you want to. I go right turn, 1, 2, 3. And 5, or arms up and down, it doesn't matter. And 5 is the point, 6 is the weight transfer, 7. So 6 weight transfer, 6.5, I'm busy in the spin, 7 I land facing the front, and then 8 I've got to recover. Okay, so basic first, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and I'm here. Okay, so I've just landed, you had quite a lot of pressure there, and I'm going to fall over into a New York flare. Okay, so it's going to be quite fast. So I'm going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go 2 of them backwards. 5, 6, 7, 8. So half of it forwards, half of it backwards. Only because we're doing this in our living rooms, I assume most of you are, not much space. I've been very fortunate to clear enough space, but again, trying to keep it compact so we don't travel too far. So let's put those 3 bars together. One mambo, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. Right turn, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I said, I'm not going to spend huge amounts of time breaking every single thing down because you've got the replay and you've got the pause button. Okay, so we just came back from the flare. Okay, I just did my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to start with half of the LA shuffle. We did that again in the last track. So I'm going forwards and back towards the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just the first half of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I've got my body angled into the corner. I'm going to be doing a little cross. 5 and 6. Here's the catch. 7 and 8. Okay, so that step might not be so familiar for you guys. Again, it depends on if you've been to my class. So what's happening here is a little bit more about using different beats. Okay, so I did my New York flare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I used all 8 counts. Now I'm going to use 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to be going 5 and 6. 7 is my cross, and is my left foot halfway round the turn. 8 is my right foot at the front. Okay, so it's 7 and 8. It's like a hook turn, but it's not on what would be standard hook turn timing. Standard hook turn timing, we tend to step it round 5, 6, 7. Okay, or 1, 2, 3. So it's syncopating the timing. I'm using a half beat. So just from that half the LA shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Okay, and I'm facing the front at that point. Notice the turnout. Okay, rewind 30 minutes ago, and we were talking about turning out and looking like ballet dancers. This is absolutely how we keep our balance in most of these more challenging steps. Imagine you're on a tightrope. Okay, you're in the circus, and someone's giving you the tightrope, and they say, walk over to the other side. You would not try and walk on the tightrope with your feet facing forwards. You'd turn them out for balance. You'd have to cling over the edges of the rope. So you'd be going like this, okay, or like this. It's like turnout, same principle. So as I'm turning, those tricky turns especially, I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Now look at that, my right foot's really turned out, and I've used the plie position. Lovely plie position, there it is. Okay, so if I bring my left leg in, it's a plie. As it happens, I've landed with my right leg forwards, my left leg is slightly behind, and that's pretty much how I'm going to keep my balance. Okay, so let's put the whole thing together from the top. From the very top, one basic. 1, 2, 3. Right turn. 1, 2, flare. 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. And look cool. Okay, don't forget to look cool when we land. All right, we're not done yet. A little bit more to add on. You've landed, and now you're going to go into a left turn, but we're going to prep forwards first. Okay, so I'm going to prep with my little left foot, like I'm lunging into my forwards position. A little bit over on the diagonal as well, more like a broken left turn. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to look to the back of the room. I'm then going to do my turn. It's 1.5. Okay, I'm going to step around 5, 6. That's my 1. And 7 is 1 full spin. So just look at that again. I've gone 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at the back of the room. My right foot now goes to the back of the room. 5. I prep my left foot. 6, it's turned out. I continue the motion. 7, I land. Okay, so it's 1 spin at the end on its own, but eventually it's 2 turns. So the actual left turn, you're doing 2 left turns within the count of 8. Okay, but the actual spinning part is right at the very end. Let's go from the very top, whole thing. 5, 6, basic. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and then we're ready to go again. Woo. Everyone still okay? You're still with me? Don't forget, we can rewind, we can slow me down. Okay, it doesn't matter. Once more, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1. Hands with as much space as you've got without throwing everything off the shelf. Okay, do watch the space that you have in your living room. Okay, hands can go out, hands can go one up, one down. I'm going to kneel down because my hands are off the screen. Still off the screen. I'm too tall for my living room. Yeah, I can. I'm actually like an inch from my ceiling, to be fair, when I put my hands up. Arms out, up. But don't forget to place the hands, especially the ladies. Okay, don't just plonk the arms out. Okay, that's not what we want. We're taking arms out and we're creating a shape and we're finishing the lines somehow. Okay, look, placement at the end. You don't have to do the same as me. Look at some of the tutorials on YouTube. I like this one because it comes across my collarbone, the back of my hand slightly up towards my chin. Again, imagine that you're holding the egg. Lots of us teachers talk about holding the egg. So here, 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 here. And then you need to continue the motion, turn the wrists out, finish the placement somehow, okay? If you don't know what to do, think about opening a doorknob, okay? Open a doorknob. Shh. Okay, you're taking a doorknob and you're turning it, okay? And rotating the fingers, shh, at the same time. Okay, that's for the ladies. Gentlemen, you need to be a little bit more with the flat hands, okay? Not so much with the pretty fingers, but still here. Gents, you can still get the power, okay? You can be like, bang, there we go. Just don't knock anyone out. Right, let's do that with some music. I'm running out of time. I do like to go on a little bit too much, I apologise. Basic first. When we're ready, let's go. The single lady bit is fast. Take a little bit of practice. I know.
Lo que pasa que en su casa tiene a su mamá. Tin, ton, chao, malanga con chao, chao. Tin, ton, chao, malanga con chao, chao.
Okay.
Tiene jeva, mucha tela y le gusta bailar. Perfumado, destacado, entra el al solar.
I'm facing you.
Malanga con chao, chao.
Let's do it together. Here we go. Right turn. Sorry, pause in the music there. My fault. Start again. Here we go. Right turn. And again, let's go. we're done. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. If you join me live, that's fantastic. Leave me a little message. If you're watching this on a recording, this has been a very short example of some solo practice work for our salsa on one. We've looked at balance, we looked at turns, we looked at a little bit of footwork. I've shouted them all out. You can obviously slow this down and look at it. Anyone that's joining me live this afternoon, the next improver session is in about half an hour, about 3:30, and that is our cha-cha. Okay, so it's improvers cha-cha, club style cha-cha, not ballroom cha-cha, salsa style, club style, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, all for solo work. Come back and look on the playlist and rejoin me. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.